Hi, I'm Kevin Hill, and today I'm going to show you how to paint a little rowboat on a pond or a small lake, which is a little bit of a different subject, but I think it'll be fun. I'm going to grab a clean 1-inch brush. I'm going to go ahead and paint my sky. So let's take some white and maybe some of our Hansa yellow ochre, but maybe not a ton of paint, maybe just a little bit of paint. Not too, maybe just a little bit of red too. I don't think I want it glaring bright. Like, I don't want a Wild West sunset here. I want something a little softer, if you know what I mean. So that's it. That's pretty. It's almost just a peachy glow as I stick my finger in the paint. There we go. Go right over that tree. The contrast, I think, will be very nice against the trunk and against the leaves, which are going to be quite dark. We'll probably need to wipe this off with a shop towel. You know what? In all reality, we're definitely going to need to wipe this off with a shop towel. So put it on as heavy as you want, because it's got to come off anyways, really. I got my sky colors, and I might lean into a little bit more of the yellow ochre tones. Just make it a little bit more saturated. Let me see what that does. It's kind of pretty. I'm just going to begin to tap in here and there, just a few distant little trees. That's enough of that color, because if you overdo that sort of thing, it kind of loses the effectiveness of it. You know, a little more Hansa yellow. It, again, just kind of helped to break it up so it doesn't lose the effectiveness of that shot of orange. If it's too much orange, you know, it'll be like, meh. Well, like that. It's just nothing but little trees glowing, being lit up there. Kind of pretty. All right, let's go ahead and direct our attention here to the water. So I'm going to pick up some of the same colors. Technically, you could have been doing this all along, but you know, I'm going to just pull down and create here. Just trying to get some of those orangey tones. They don't have to be perfect, and good news, because they won't be, right? But I'm just beginning to get some of those, and just the very basic idea of, okay, if there's a valley there, there's kind of a valley there. Super basic. I'm not trying to sit down here with a ruler and make it perfect. Although you could do that if you really wanted to. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and fix my boat, because I kind of messed it up. And I'm probably going to do my boat next, or close to next. I want it a little bigger. Can I do that? It's my painting. There we go. I want room in that boat. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because it's kind of a fun part of the painting. Let me stand back. Yeah, it's got and the tip of the boat is a little higher than the rear, and I think that's kind of cool. I practiced drawing out a boat earlier. I'm looking over at it, kind of getting an idea. Some brown and black 50-50 mix. This will be a little easier to get my branches with, I think. So, well, I kind of lost my drawing. That's okay. I'll wing it. The drawing's there just to give you a basic idea, you know, and then you do what you want to once you get further down the road. Okay. And then back to my darker colors. Of course, that there is going to need a shadow, nice and thick, full depth there, nice and large to hold that big tree up. This is back here is okay. The leading edge, the shape isn't right, and I'll show you how to fix it. Well, it's really not so much not right. It's just the fact that I haven't finished it yet. But I'm going to take some of my yellows, some sap green, whatever, white, of course, to lighten. And I'm going to take and refine my edges. Refine my edges like that. See that? Boom. This is just the detail round brush. You could use anything you want. Use a 2-inch brush if you want to, but you won't get that result. You can use whatever you want. There you go. But you see what I'm going to do is, rather than just go quick, I'm going to create more negative areas, in and out flowing areas that I think will be more entertaining, more interesting. Oh yeah. Do all of these leaves that you want to first, and then when you go ahead and touch it, which I just began to do there, you touch it back into those darks that you put down, And then you get all of your shadows, midtones built in. So do your best to go ahead and get it, like I said, covered. Get your bright leaves in and done first. Ooh, that's pretty, like that light's coming through and just whacking the edges of the, oh, that's so pretty. The edges of those little leaves, lots of paint. I'm kind of finishing this tree out. Wasn't really planning to, but I'm going to finish the leaves on this tree just because I know that by planning, you know, because we sketched, we drew it out, I know that I don't have much else going on back here. And I don't have to worry, oh, that's so pretty, or struggle trying to get paint to stick. You know, if I was going to do something on top, I know that this is it. So that is why pre-planning does indeed help a lot. Now let's go ahead and lay down some color for the grass. I'm going to take some white, yellow ochre, Hansa yellow, just lots of paint, lots of paint. Now my light's coming in through here. Of course, I've got shadow probably cast from somewhat of that boat there. I'm going to lay some color down. If you've ever painted with me before and done any kind of grassy field, this is all the same stuff. Just going to begin to paint in some grassy field area. And on this side as well, I mean, I know I kind of want some water there, so let's just go here. Leave a room for shadow of some form. Okay, probably enough of that. Let's go ahead and move to a slightly more subdued color, like so. Sap green, yellow ochre, Hansa yellow, and mud. Ooh, I just slung paint. Mud. And I'm going to place this in and around, which I think will work. Good. Yeah, just put the color down. I'm going to take clean, dry fan brush and go up. It looks like I'm going up and down, but I'm not. I'm only going up, fluffing it up. Starting, of course, in my light areas, consistently wiping off that brush on the paper towel, because if you don't, you'll begin to create mud. Always wiping the brush. Starting with my light areas, working to my dark areas. Okay. In fact, as I transition into my darker areas, I may grab my brush that's kind of a little dirty. So I have a clean one still standing by. Let me do that. Here's my other fan brush, and you see it's just got some dark in it, and I'll wipe that on the paper towel. There's not much in it. And I can fluff these darker areas, and that just keeps my brushes cleaner in case I want to do something else. I'm going to underpaint my boat, and I'm going to do that with some burnt umber, some red, some blue, and some white. Burnt umber, red, blue, and white. Okay. It's kind of a grayish color, kind of grayish purpley brown. I'm going to use that to underpaint the boat. The more you do of this kind of, the first go around, the better. Because this is wet and this is oil paint. And so you may honestly want to detail things out with the liner brush. I'll take a little black and add to that. Not too much black, because black just sucks the color out of it. But yeah, you might find the liner brush to be a very useful tool. Okay, kind of creating the look of those boards, or you know, the way that boat might be built. It's a little fat there at the bottom. I can show you how to fix it. Just take your brush and wiggle it like so and cut the bottom of that boat right off. Make it into reflection. Take a little bit of light color. It happens to have blue in it, but doesn't have to. And you can just begin to, right there, begin to just outline that boat a little bit so that you can see right where it stops. Now it is time to change to the liner brush. So I'm going to, now right down here I've got some walnut oil. So I'm going to thin it down with that walnut oil. You can use linseed oil or any kind of oil that you like from the art store. But I'm going to take some yellow and white. This is just a little yellow ochre and white. And honestly, there's some mud in there. Of course there is mud in that. There's nothing you can do really whether you want it or not. There's probably going to be mud in it. A little tinge of red, just I think will warm that up even more. Okay. And I'm going to highlight my boat. I'm going to start with the little back portion. And of course that boat is going to come down like so. And I think having it wrap under, oh, it's pretty. See, it's starting to glow, isn't it? Now maybe I'll go just a little more red in it. Check this out. I'm gonna just not quite as bright. Run that right along. Kind of missed. So what I need, you can either put your finger up under your, see that? Up under my easel. Or else you can put your finger directly on the canvas and just fix the blob later. There we go. This is definitely one of those old boats. And it's, you know, it's showing in its age. It's a little beat up, and that's fun. It adds character. Like an old barn. A little lump or bump here and there is okay. Okay, that looks pretty good. I can soften any of that if I need to, but I'm just playing. I'm just getting it established. It's not perfect yet. It's not going to be, just so you know. There we go. I'm going to begin to now create some of this movement and feeling of the way that this thing is constructed, like so. It doesn't need to be perfect. It's not going to be perfect. It's just, we're just getting there. And I specifically saved time for this because it's the detail. It's going to take time. This is not a bush. You know, I think so much of the time as a landscape painter, you know, we think, oh, everything's got to be as fast as a bush. But really, no. You know, stuff like this, I mean, it's going to take a lot of time compared to a bush. I'm going to take just some of my greens and browns and mud. Obviously, if you look at my palette, you'll be like, huh? Yeah, sometimes it's what you got. You use what you got. There we go. Greens and browns. I'm going to just place in some of these nice, not quite thin enough. If you ever get your paint where this doesn't want to flow, add a little bit more. If you're walnut oil, linseed oil, or you know, whatever oil you're using. There we go. There's no reason. See, I started that first one going from the top down. There's no reason for that. Go from the bottom up. You're gonna have a better blade, a better blade of grass. And guess what? They don't all need to be connected. I know that's crazy. Your eye will fill in, I promise. It'll look okay. Isn't that funny the way that works though? It's true. You know, it's just so true. Your eye just fills right in. Any blobbies that are usually like, I got blobbies, I think it's going to be fine because it kind of almost reads like cattails, or I'm going to do blobs on purpose. Yes, because it just makes it look more wild, doesn't it? And because I had that, I have room to go darker. See that? Because I had that little light, I've got room to go darker, which is good. Over here, I've got room to go darker. And I'm going to have that contrast. Ooh, I almost got into bush mode. This is not bushes. I think they do need to be flowing, you know. There we go. Now I've got some fresh walnut oil, as well as I've cleaned off my palette somewhat. It's not perfect. And squirted out a little more paint where I needed it. So let's go ahead and take some of our Hansa yellow, yellow ochre, titanium white. I like to have more of that yellow ochre. And I'm not going to go liner brush thin. I'm going to just go creamy, very creamy. Just enough where I can paint with it, but it's not going to go running too thin. Of course, I am using the liner brush, but you know what I mean? It's different because I kind of paint with it. I used to use the liner brush just for liner brush things, but these days, oh, I use it for everything. I'm making choices. There we go. Let's do this. An old hollow spot. Okay. Now, the liner brush really, it'll almost do more than you need it to. And you can almost, I'm gonna have to go in and like darken this color. It's sticking too well. There we go. It's not perfect. That is okay. Pick up a little bit of dark from here and put it there. That doesn't look right. I've got a glare. That's my excuse. Can't see this corner anyways. I'm doing it by feel. Here we go. Okay, there we go. So I've got something there. Now I'm going to take and darken just slightly that color with some burnt umber that had black in it. So I'm going to add red. I really didn't want black. Okay. And I'm going to, with that, I'm going to run some of that darker brown on this side of the tree trunk. Get a nice old root there. Oh, that's good stuff. Isn't that nice? Yeah. Burnt umber. Right into all of that. Lots of color. You can't overdo color. You can always add more in subtle variety, not just like bold or anything like that. Subtle varieties of color are always a good thing. Going into maybe some black. There we go. A little bit of black in there, because I think that little hole is maybe a little too outlined there. Soften it a bit. Nah, it looks more natural, which is good. Just do this with the liner brush. And do as much of it or as little with the liner brush. You could use a different brush if you like, but I find it sticks so easily. And that trunk has pretty heavy buildup of paint on it. Oh yeah, like that. There. To me, that works. Yeah, that works. It's dark. It's supposed to be kind of high contrast, I think. I'm just going to add a final highlight here in multiple colors in this tree. I don't need much, but I'm using a liner brush because at this point, there's just not much else I can do to make it stick. I do want it to stick and be bright, you know, without a lot of problems. No, it wouldn't hurt to very, very lightly just skim over this water area just to create a little bit more of a ripple on the water. I think that would look nice and just sort of help complete the painting. It doesn't take much. Well, that wraps up our little painting for today. Don't forget to check out our website, DVDs, brush line, and Patreon. Thanks for watching. Well, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe if you're not already, and click the like button. It helps me out a lot. Stick around, watch a couple more videos, and stay inspired.